You are listening to episode 1 of the Dudes at 4 a.m. podcast, brought to you by 3 dudes, a cold room, and the willpower to stay awake.
Bringing you down, you ain't no hard milk, but you're cold as a floor. Now rumor has it she ain't got your love anymore. Rumor has it.
Welcome, as I said, this is the premiere episode of the Dudes at 4 a.m. I am Erin. I'm here with 2 of my best dudes. We're here awake at 4 a.m. First guy to my left is Alex.
Freezing cold in the studio, man.
And then my other main man over here is Brian.
It ain't that bad, yo. Like, calm down.
It's cold, man. Like, you're living like a polar bear here.
There's nothing wrong with
It's
living like
literally
a
an
polar bear.
igloo.
Do you have a problem with polar bears?
I don't.
No. Do you?
I don't have a problem when
So-
they're
so
in
then
Antarctica.
Children,
They're in Antarctica.
Please. But I mean, the cold, doesn't help, though. The time doesn't help. But as I said, we're Dudes at 4 a.m. We're here to talk about life and all its troubles and hopefully all its happiness as well. We'll see whatever's relevant.
And I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's probably not always going to be laser focused. You know, it's going to be random once in a while. We're just going to go off on a tangent. But, you know, we'll try and get back to whatever we were on.
I mean, that's life, right? You always go off on tangents anyway.
Yeah, we're at 4 a.m., so... I mean, what do you do at 4 a.m.?
And disclaimer, if any of us falls asleep during this recording, we are not liable. We are running low on energy. And
Yeah. If you become a particular fan of one of us, I'm sorry if one of us falls asleep during the podcast, because, you know, it'll happen.
Yeah.
I guess we could not do it at 4 a.m., but then the name would be stupid, you know.
We want to stay true to the name, I think.
We'll do our best, at least.
We'll see what happens. If it ends up changing, let us know. Well, give us feedback.
Feedback. Move it to 6.
Yeah.
Be a morning show.
New morning show.
Tie with the news.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think, our first topic for this first podcast, we're going to talk a lot about things we love and love in general.
Maybe, actually, we should probably give a little bit of a description of ourselves so they know who
Okay.
people
I guess it's
know
okay.
what we're listening to.
Nope. Just love.
You're not
Go into it.
Just gonna dive right in,
Just
though.
strangers. Just take
All
our
right.
advice.
Well, I'm sure you can find this out later, but I'm Erin. We're all the same age, but yeah, we're rising third-year college students. I go to the University of Virginia. I like comics. I like games. I like not to be sad. That's about it.
And I'm Alex. I have a hearty laugh, so get used to it. I don't like the cold particularly. I like video games. I like running. I don't do both at the same time. And
I hope not.
I don't do anything with the cold. So, Brian, take over with the cold.
I'm Brian. I like to sleep in the cold, or I like to sit in the cold. I mean, I prefer the cold to the hot, basically. But the thing about me is, I like to sleep. There's really not anything that matches sleeping, but eating is nice, too. I was a semi-pro gamer for a little while. Yeah, that's about it. That's all about it.
Oh, and both me and Brian go to George Mason University. Just third-year students.
Yep.
Like Erin.
Sounds good. We're getting old.
We're getting too old.
Yeah, like, I feel like we've been saying that for years, but it's just like, now I actually starting to feel like old.
Yeah, now it's for real.
I don't know.
Now-
As you get older, I think you just keep thinking you're old.
Yeah,
There's no,
that's
like,
true.
there's no, like, age that's really going to end that you're going to say, oh, man, I feel young. Like,
I'm just waiting for the day.
But once I get to like age like 45, I'm gonna start saying, instead of 45 years old, I'm gonna start saying 45 years young.
That's a good plan. Counteract the
Yeah.
number. Yeah.
I'm just waiting
Like a
for the
paradox.
first kid to call me Gramps. I just want to look him straight in the face like, you want
You
to call
have
me
to
that?
find a girl first
Yeah,
to
find
have
a girl.
children with, and then
No, I can be called Gramps.
that's just playing.
Professor Oak.
I was just playing.
Where is Mrs. Oak? Call him Gramps all the time.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, all right.
That's so much better. All right. Okay, well, now that you know a little bit about us, we're gonna talk about a movie first, I think.
Yeah,
Yep, movies.
if you guys
Maybe
have,
2 movies? We'll see.
maybe. I mean, it's been a huge summer for movies, and
Goodness gracious.
the recent ones that we've all really liked. The Change Up with my main man Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman.
Good movie.
Very, very funny movie. I thought,
Not sure.
despite the crap that people are giving on Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
I will say this though: to watch that movie, it's a very bro comedy.
Yeah.
Don't take a date. Take the bros out. Maybe drink a little. We didn't have to. We're just funny people.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is it's definitely a bro comedy.
Which is diametrically opposed to the other movie we want to talk about today, which
Crazy
is
Stupid Love.
Crazy Stupid Love. Or
Another very It's a single movie. You gotta go there single.
I mean, you either.
No.
Like,
I think the thing is it's a couple movie just because all romantic comedies are basically.
Yeah.
But the thing is this one is acceptable for single people.
That's it.
Because I mean, I watched it by myself in a room in a theater, probably full
I
of
can't believe
couples.
that.
I was probably the only single person in that theater.
Premiere day, you in a single seat, probably the whole row to yourself.
Well, it was awkward because I got in a little late, so the trailers were already playing. I walked up and when I found two seats open, there was a couple on the one side and a couple on the other side. So either way, whatever seat I chose, I was sitting next to a couple awkwardly, and I was all alone. So it was kind of weird, but I mean, I really enjoyed the movie. It was worth it. It was worth it.
Just try and sit next to the one that doesn't make out as much. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
All mental preparation.
But yeah, I mean, like we said, those two movies are really different, but they have similar themes. They talk about some similar things.
Very big surprises in the summer, full of Marvel and DC.
Oh yeah,
Transformers.
It was honestly incredibly refreshing to see Crazy Stupid Love because of all the movies I've seen this summer and basically saw all of the blockbusters that were supposed to be great.
Yeah,
Crazy Stupid Love is probably like number 2 for me. But I mean, I guess that's kind of unfair because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, just reading the books.
Oh yeah,
and I wasn't always a huge fan of the movies, but the last 2 movies were fantastic. I think.
Oh yeah. For me, Harry Potter steals the cake this summer.
Yeah.
That's I mean, but Crazy Stupid Love to me is kind of like, I would say the Scott Pilgrim of this year because it was like the movie that I wanted to see, but it's not exactly. I thought it was going to be like one of the greatest movies one of my favorite movies. But Crazy Stupid Love is kind of growing me as thinking about it after watching it because I liked it a lot coming out of the theater.
It had a stellar cast,
right?
Kind of like Scott Pilgrim, which had a lot of stars lined up. This one did too, and they all delivered. I thought.
Which was another movie about love that totally blew us all away last year.
That's true. The similar themes between those 2 movies also.
Which we'll probably get into. We'll probably reference them a bunch of times.
Yeah, because I mean,
it's just what we do.
We're pretty huge Scott.
I mean, I just referenced Pokemon, and if you didn't get there, you probably tuned off. So.
And I mean, if any of you listeners have watched Scott Pilgrim, I'm always searching for my Ramona. I'm just saying.
That's life. Yeah, that's life.
That's life.
The thing about Crazy Stupid Love, though, is that it's really creative. I think with romantic comedy storylines.
Definitely.
Yes.
It's geniusly written.
It is actually very geniusly written.
The surprises in that movie. You do not expect, and
don't go in there with any preconcept notions of love or anything. All surprise.
Yeah, and they're not like cheap shocks too. They're well written. They make sense.
They're a legitimate surprise. It's kind of like actually, it's the idea that the magician makes you focus on one thing, and then they totally surprise you with another thing.
Exactly.
It's pretty sleight of hand kind of deal with that movie, but it's so pleasant and so refreshing because there's so many things that are different from regular romantic comedies.
Yeah, I mean, to begin, it starts off with a terrible tragedy. That's the first scene. Is you learn freaking
Steve Carell's character.
Steve Carell.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah,
if you've seen any of the trailers or any of the commercials, first scene, Steve Carell and his wife going to a dinner, romantic dinner,
played by Julianne Moore. Yeah.
Yes.
And the first thing she says, she wants a divorce, and in a very abrupt way too.
I mean, we don't want to go into any more of the movie and spoil it, but just throwing that out there, straight out, that's crazy.
Yeah, because it sets the tone, and then it's sort of this build up to you. I mean, you don't really know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to have a happy ending like most movies do, but it's this build up to getting to that point. Can this guy win her back, or can love find its way? And
that plot starts immediately. Usually, you see a divorce or something. You see a happy couple in the beginning of the movie, divorce halfway through. It's like, oh my god!
Right.
You're expecting them to get back together. This one thrusts you right into it. It's very engaging.
It's kind of the post breakup always decision. Does he want to move on, or does he want to try and win her back, or does he take time to be single? And it's like everybody goes through that kind of decision once in their life whenever they get broken up with. And then you're actually very curious as to what he's going to do. And in most other movies, it's just what they're going to do, and they're going to go after the girl, or they're going to try and move on. They're going to find a new girl, or whatever. Yeah. But this one, he actually has you questioning Steve Carell's acting. In that moment,
he does. I mean, he makes, and that's the thing. It's like real life because he's really doesn't know what's going to happen.
He's just living.
It's because that's how well written it is. It's not. It's not like Hollywood's imposing this these weird situations to meld together. It's like real life taking place in that movie.
Yeah. Aside from a few bit parts, but otherwise, pretty seamless.
discussing some of the other stars in that movie, Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
Big fan.
Surprised. She was surprising. She had a small role, but she played it well.
Actually, I felt it was more of a bigger role as not to spoil the movie as it goes on.
As it goes on, yeah. I feel
Oh yeah.
definitely her role starts minimum, but it grows larger as the movie goes on. But the thing is she's in every movie now. I feel
this
like
summer,
I know, yeah.
And next year too with Spider-Man. Right now, what's the movie she's in? With the
Oh, The Help. The Help just came out.
Yeah.
I could see, and she's one of those stars that's up and coming that I will see any movie she's in just because I'm such a big fan because she's that good.
Just listen to this list of movies that she was really in. She was Zombieland, Marmaduke, The Help, Easy A, The House Bunny, Superbad, Friends with Benefits, Crazy Stupid Love, and to think those are all rated really well.
Yeah.
By critics.
And not all of them are the same role too. I mean, you could argue that.
Her role from Zombieland, completely different.
That's completely different. Easy A, which is sort of similar to Crazy Stupid Love, but also completely different from The Help.
Yes.
So she's not a one.
Very versatile actress.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And she's definitely not in her super bad phase anymore. Not just some teen getting hit in the head.
Yeah.
No. Moved on.
Emma Stone, big fan.
Definitely. And then her counterpart in the movie. They meet early on. Ryan Gosling, who plays the sexy sort of womanizer, which is it's a typical role you expect for romantic comedies, but I think he brings a freshness to it and a subtle like the emotion is not forced on him. He has like a typical background where his parents are like he loses one of his parents and like he's trying to find happiness, but he brings a freshness to it and it's subtle. They don't force it on him.
Yeah, it's not like a forced loner.
I think the interesting thing about it is that usually with that kind of character, they meet a girl that makes them want to change their entire life.
Right.
But in this movie, it's really not the case.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Because he's still the same person. It's just that wall has been built up to this persona of the womanizer that he tries to engage Steve Carell in. And the way he just
and that's the interesting thing too is like it happens when he calls Steve Carell over and he wants to help him. Like you don't really think about it, but that's a weird thing for a guy like that to do, Yeah. But the key line, like he says, he told Steve Carell, you remind me of someone, which is, either a reference to him or a reference to
somebody
his
else's
dad or
help,
something. Yes,
maybe?
Something. But that's the subtlety I'm talking about. Like that.
It gives him some history, some life. Like you could just impose a Quagmire like person, and it could just be it's equally as helpful. But no, it's like this guy in the background is just he just took on the role of a womanizer because it's the only thing that fit at the time.
Yeah,
so
that's probably the only moment in the movie I feel like was the going backward is the only like movement that's kind of like unbelievable where he decides to call Steve Carell over Ryan Gosling
right away.
Yeah, and that's just. But aside from that, I feel the movie is very realistic as to what could happen and what might happen and things like that.
Right.
Definitely.
And then there are just so many intertwining storylines that come together that, like, it's really well done.
It's so great. The first, like, reveal, like, you get, I guess, is, the babysitter's, she babysits Steve Carell's kids, but apparently her parents are big friends, or best friends with Steve Carell.
Right.
Like, that's a subtle reveal, but it turns out to be really important at the end.
Yes. And then Steve Carell's kid, his oldest son, falling for the babysitter.
That's also you find out early,
right.
Which also turns out to be a big deal at the end.
Because it's a triangle, because the babysitter surprisingly starts to grow affection for Steve Carell, and that turns into a huge plot twist.
Right. I don't even know what shape to go. It's not a love triangle. There are so many,
it's just a love zigzag.
Yeah, we all know, and when you guys eventually watch this movie, or if you've already watched this movie, everybody hates David Lidhagen. That's the name of a character. When you watch the movie,
played by Kevin Bacon. Which small role, but again, this
Kevin Bacon. Where isn't he? He was an X-Men in May.
He was Sebastian Shaw in X-Men, which was also amazing, good job there.
Later podcast, we'll get onto the Marvel and scare away all the girls,
and we'll just, we'll be nerding out on that. Yeah, Crazy Stupid Love. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it,
many views on the Crazy Ways of Love.
Yeah, and again, like the main theme you learn is about soulmates and about true love, and I mean it questions it, but it also like asserts it. So it's interesting to watch it, get your own like opinion on things, and then learn from it. I mean, it's real. I've learned from it. You know, it's.
I mean, we tried not to spoil anything, but I'm sure you drew some conclusions from what we said. But even so, I would still watch it, and you probably might still be surprised at some
Because there are a lot of parts we did not reveal that you definitely need to see.
Yeah.
Like, we're not plugging a movie here, but...
Yeah.
No, we kind of are.
We kind of are.
Okay, so, I mean, the next thing is we watched The Change-Up, and then we saw the reviews for the movie The Change-Up with
How disappointing.
Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Don't.
And those reviews, I definitely understand that has to be written by people who don't appreciate, like, I don't know what to say about it exactly. They said it's a raunchy comedy that's been put in an oversaturated market.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
A lot of the reviews.
They say it's typical, like, of formulaic plot. Like,
Yeah.
you know what's going to happen.
If you ever seen Freaky Friday, it's along the same lines, switching bodies, basic characters. You get 2-star actors.
Here's
So
the thing, though, is there are certain movies that have basic storylines. They just put a different face on it because there are a lot of people who love Star Wars, right?
right,
Now think about it. The 4th, 5th, and 6th episode 4, 5, and 6.
the original saga.
The original saga.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it is very similar to an old samurai movie, but put with a sci-fi cover on it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Now think about The Change-Up. It's got this storyline where people switch bodies, but this has the bro comedy layer on it.
And that's never really been done before. Like
Yeah.
it's. I mean, I get what people are trying to say, but it's things happen that you don't expect to, and the people. What'll carry a movie like this is the actors. Is those two main actors that have to switch bodies, and Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman carry this. They are hilarious.
They have a good
together.
exchange.
They are hilarious.
You feel like there's just so many on the fly lines that they just throw out that are hilarious.
Yeah. The improvisation is if there's a lot of it. I mean, it's really good. Like,
I couldn't imagine a different pair. Like you could have put like if you put the super bad stars in there, it would have been a lot different. It wouldn't have been the same movie, but having these two together is good.
Yeah, and then there's also the thing about them having to act like each other's character, but they're still themselves, and they still did a good job of that. I mean, you could see the acting
They're very
skill
distinguishable
of both men in this movie.
Their changes are very good. It's not very sudden, and they just like have a revelation, and then they decide that I'm going to be exactly like them or whatever.
It's really. I mean, from the start when they wake up, it's blatant. Like they did switch bodies. Period. Like
they do a very good job.
They introduce characters in the intro. They introduce habits. Interactions with the jobs or lack of jobs, and it's very different.
And then going along with the theme, this movie also points on love because Ryan Reynolds is the typical single guy. He's looking for he needs a job.
Why not?
He needs to settle down. He hasn't nothing.
He's the character that hasn't grown up yet.
Exactly. And then Jason Bateman is the complete opposite. I mean, he has a wife. He has 3 kids, right? An older daughter.
He has the American
and then
dream.
the twins.
Does he?
The twin babies.
Yeah, the twin babies and the daughter that does the ballet.
Yes,
right.
So I mean, and they've been best friends since kids apparently, and they're complete opposite lives.
College? No, it wasn't college. Yeah, it's kids.
I think it was young.
Yeah.
They met at a young age, and then he meets the wife meet the wife in college.
Right.
They become good.
And I think it's a big part of this movie too because it hits on Jason Bateman's life with his wife and what it means to have a wife and how to treat her, which I thought was smart. Like they, some people talk about how this is really raunchy, like male, almost chauvinistic movie, but they respect women, like they respect the role of the wife in this movie. They really point out how crucial it is for a wife to be there.
And never in a movie have I seen the way a later scene in the movie emphasizes this point more, but there's a scene where they embody each other's persona so well that they pretty much mesh and they embrace it somehow.
Yeah.
But there's a guilt or I don't know how to say it. I think it's they just try to build each other in the shoes and they grow jealous of each other at one point and then
you have the opposite, Ryan Reynolds. He's he's not. I guess he's really tried to find love, but I guess it hits him randomly with
Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde is the other.
Oh my God,
Oh
Olivia
yeah,
Wilde.
don't even get me started on Olivia Wilde. Okay.
Lots
The-
of requests to be had
the
here.
worst thing is we watched Cowboys and Aliens like almost only 4 days before we watched the change
We're
up.
big movie watchers.
Yeah.
At least during the summer.
We're
Yeah,
broke.
during the
We're
summer.
broke.
We are. But Olivia Wilde, she's amazing looking, and then but that's
She's a great actress.
yeah, and she eventually becomes the interest of Ryan Reynolds.
She's just incredibly sexy. She has this
Oh,
air
yeah.
that I don't like. I don't
Oh, yeah.
even know what it is about her to describe.
That's true.
There's not like a body part that's just like about her. That's like, oh my god,
It's
there's
her,
something
yeah.
about her.
We are smitten, ladies and gentlemen. Smitten.
Clearly, yeah, because they go. I mean, you see her minimally at first, but then when she starts getting involved with Ryan Reynolds, she goes on that date, and then the way she just plays like how she's going on a date is just so like it's so perfect, so attractive. Like she is this like relaxed. Her job is to be like she's like in a law firm or something.
It's a really
And then
slap to the face to have her so different.
When she goes out on a date, I mean, but it makes sense because it's almost like she's trying to break out of this like
Right.
mold she's gone into with
The
her
repressed
with her
girl.
job. Yeah, so I mean that's another like interesting part of the movie is, but even though it's a small character,
Yeah.
Great.
Those are the two movies.
The Change
yeah,
Up
yeah,
and Crazy Stupid Love.
Yep.
Two very big love things, also romantically involved. And
both. I mean, check out the change. I mean, if like we said, if you got a bunch of guys to go with, go watch it, have some good laughs.
Yeah, it's definitely a bro.
Yeah.
you
comedy.
can go with
maybe-
your girlfriend if you want, with the lady friends. Just be
Warn
warned.
her.
They might be a
Just-
little bit squeamish too.
Just definitely know what type of movie you're getting into.
Yeah,
and
Yes.
taking a girl to it.
If you've ever experienced any Wayans comedies, was it the baby one? Where they had the little tunes, the baby, or White Chicks humor.
Yeah.
A little bit of the
Almost like
raunchiness of that humor.
almost, yeah.
Yes.
And then
Alright.
pro
And we-
tip from that movie: your left hand, you get more torque. Apparently,
Yeah.
so that's for the guys out there. Yeah.
Scared off all lady viewers. I just saw everyone drop.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
pretty
hope we
sure.
didn't- I hope we
I'm
didn't
pretty
lose.
sure even though it's 4:50 in the morning, I heard a girl scream just running
Yeah,
by
exactly.
because she heard you say that.
Yeah,
Good job.
I heard her
Erin.
mother.
Hey! I was just trying to help people. Help
Someone's
the guys
parental
out.
controls just kicked in.
I guess we're just promoting the movie.
Yeah. And we also have another thing to talk about. We are big video game nerds here, and 2 weeks ago, I believe, we had the big event, EVO 2011.
Evolution
Fighting.
2011.
Yeah, it's been a big entertainment fest because we watched Evo that weekend, and then all these movies just popped out of nowhere.
It's craziness.
Recently.
This is crazy that week.
Yeah,
And if you don't know, Evolution 2011 tournament in Las Vegas, fighting game tournament,
Yeah.
featured this year Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition,
yeah. Mortal
Mortal-
Kombat made
Mortal
a- made
Kombat
a
9,
big presence, this
Tekken 6.
Tekken 6, Marvel vs. Capcom
and
3.
of course the big cojones right there.
Yeah.
Well, Super Street Fighter 4 is the big cone.
Oh, that's true.
But
Oh,
for
and
us,
Blaz-
For us,
in our
for
case,
us,
in
yeah.
our particular case,
Yeah.
we say that because we actually are playing Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and
Yeah.
trying to get a little bit better and maybe see if we can get into the tournament scene.
We will see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, and also Blaze Blue.
I think that was the-
Yeah, that was the first game. But yeah, we'll talk about
that
EVO
was
11.
epic stuff. I mean, you talk about our love, you talk about love. I mean, we love video games, and watching a tournament.
It was
like
a
that,
Super Bowl of video game proportions.
It just heightens your love for something like that so much.
You it's hard to say because when you think about it, you love to watch sports so much and you see your favorite sports team to play, and when you watch them play, you're just cheering for them so hard. And it was kind of the same thing for Evo. Like so many of your favorite players and the underdog players that nobody has ever heard of.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that sports don't have. You'll always know the teams, and surprisingly, once in a while, there's an underdog story.
Yeah.
But for tournaments, they come straight out of the woodwork.
Oh yeah.
Right. You get a few big names here:
Yeah.
Justin Wong, Mike Ross, Daigo.
Yeah.
But we got a guy representing the U.S., Latif,
Yeah.
coming out of nowhere.
takes
I mean,
out 3 big.
I won't even lie. I wasn't even really cheering for Latif when he played against Daigo because I'm such a big Daigo Umehara fan. He is the beast. But that's
Yes.
mainly because the first Street Fighter clip of Pro Scene I ever watched was Daigo parrying all of Justin Wong's moves, or Justin Wong's super, at an older Evolution tournament.
Look it up right now.
Yeah.
When you get a chance.
And then we'll wait. We will wait.
We'll
Yeah.
grab some water.
We'll go talk about Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah, we'll go plug. We'll do some shameless advertisement
Yeah.
points probably. We'll
We have Pepsi in the works. We're calling them up.
Hopefully.
We got our
Hopefully
own
they'll get back to us
commercials,
Yeah, seriously.
billboards to print.
But yeah, that's Evolution was crazy. So many upsets, so many really crazy upsets.
Oh yeah.
Puerto Rico representing.
Yeah, PR Balrog.
That
PR
was
Balrog
good
getting
stuff.
second place in the Marvel tournament
That was fantastic.
with some crazy antics by Tronbon, the Mega Man
To
Legends
give you an
character.
idea of what we're talking about, what was the number they had at the tournament? They had literally 1,500 entrants for Marvel. Versus
They had-
yeah.
Yes. Oh, was it 1,500 Marvel?
I don't know.
It was a couple thousand Marvel.
There were thousands of people at the event, and then on their stream they said they had millions of views.
Oh
So,
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think they said like
They had like
remember-
50,000 at a time,
Yeah,
60,000.
I remember them saying because they said they had like 80,000 people at the event. Because I remember saying that's only like three-fourths of what was at Comic-Con. Because I went to Comic-Con and they had 100 some thousand, and to have 85,000 at a tournament, a game
I mean,
tournament.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
they had.
just how big that is. If you consider
Yeah.
how many of those people are just spectators.
Exactly.
Yes, it was like 80,000 spectators, probably exceeded well over 100,000 with cosplayers and people engaged
Just running
for
through.
just 5 games.
I
No
know,
Call of
yeah.
Duty, no Madden,
You know,
no Halo, no Smash Bros. Just straight
let's not
up.
even talk about that
Let's
because
not
they had Smash Bros at Evolution last year. But
Yeah,
let's not
it's
get
just
into
Yeah, well,
the sorrow. But yes, Evolution.
but that's the scale. That's the scale we're talking.
Yeah, we're
about.
talking about millions of viewers, and just that's worldwide viewing actually too,
Yeah.
because
That's true.
Team Japan wants the Japanese
Yep.
to know what's up with them, and
Yeah.
so Team Korea, Punko.
And we're so passionate about this. Going back to our theme of love, there's a boundary between romantic love and a passion for a game. We like to establish that as we're not just video gamers, just trying to fall in love with our video games. We have lives outside our video games, but we do have a deep-seated respect for the video game community and
much love for the view.
much love.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, semi-pro gamer at some point. Maybe trying again with Marvel. We'll see.
We will see. We will get into our laboratories.
Yes.
It's gonna
Hide
be,
away from the
it's,
world.
It's tough though. I mean, for a love like that's hard work.
For love
To
like-
get pro at a game, that's
The amount of tech skill and
Yeah.
just then you have to learn the actual mind games and not learn mind games, but
Learn
learn
characters.
the
learn
strategy.
characters
Yeah.
and the whole like
It's-
shebang.
And it's
so
a growing
specific.
game. It's a growing
It is a
game.
growing game.
We
It
have
There's going to be a new version in November.
Ultimate
Yep.
Marvel's Capcom 3
Adding
in November.
Six characters on each side, so 12 total.
And probably more.
And there could be more
There could
Yeah.
be more, and there.
because we've discussed some of the Easter eggs that we found in the endings of other
Yeah,
characters.
Not that Marvel or Capcom wants to say anything, but
Yeah.
we have
You know them,
pictures.
you know them.
We have evidence. We have them on speed dial away.
But we can discuss that later because we know not everybody's interested in that
Yeah,
necessarily.
yeah.
So
But I mean, like you were saying, something like this, to get good at something technical like this, it takes a lot of work, a lot of paying attention to detail, and a lot of like on the fly. You have to know yourself. You have to trust yourself. Really.
You have to know theory, but you have to
Yeah.
have reaction skill. You have to
Exactly.
know, I don't know.
and you have to
know
learn
combos,
people.
Yeah,
But you have to be able to assist and things.
and you can't be conventional. You can't be like the rest of people because you need to come up with unexpected moves. You need to come up with things that people will define you by. People will not be prepared for. That's how you. I mean, that's how you win.
It's like football footage. Everyone's watching each other's videos, and
Yeah.
everyone is
Yeah.
trying to engage each other. Everyone's trying to do something new, and it's even though it's a growing game, people have habits, and there's a lot to learn.
And then I mean, I sometimes hate people for ragging on video games, but something like this, something like fighting games, learning how to play fighting games, like that's real life. That's real life stuff. You can apply technical skill and strategy like that to almost anything.
Right, dedication.
The work you put into learning like a game like Marvel, like that work can be applied to a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
It's just a very likable game. If you've grown up watching any TV, you've definitely seen these characters from Marvel, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wolverine of the X-Men, and you have characters from Capcom. People
and
know
even some of
Ryu,
them had their own TV shows.
right?
Yeah,
Let's not
Mega
talk
Man.
about those. Well, Mega Man we can talk about. Street Fighter, not so much.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
they had the animated movies. They were
There's a
very
movie,
good.
right? Yeah.
They were animated movies. They were pretty good. Not the
Yeah.
live action movies.
The live
The animated
action one.
shows.
Any live action movie where you have Guile as the main character and not Ryu, I don't.
Or Chun-Li.
Or
Oh, Guile.
Not that we don't like
Basically,
Chun. Not that we
not
dislike if you have Ryu as if you have the main character of the series as the main character of the story,
I'll even let Ken be the main character, maybe.
we'll let that fly.
Yeah, I'll let it slide. But really, it should be Ryu.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
The red robes on Ken are too. I can't look at that for too long.
Okay.
It's an eyesore. It's just,
His alternate outfits.
at least the white is a neutral on Ryu.
Okay. I mean, that...
Okay. We're going to nerd out all day. Or all night,
yes,
apparently.
We really should segue into our next thing.
But yeah, like I was saying, you can apply stuff like that to a lot of things, and then going back to what we wanted to talk about originally,
love,
the technicals, the detail, like learning on the fly, but knowing your opponent. I guess if you want to call like a woman you're trying to find,
the ability,
the love of the game, adapting to the love of your life.
Exactly. To adapt and know your surroundings. That's all about love. That's all about finding love and also like pursuing love.
I remember I was telling my friend back when I was engaged in Super Smash Bros. Tournament. I was talking to this girl, and he's like, "I don't know, man. I don't think I can talk to her." It's like, it's just in Smash Bros. You don't know his friend, but he went to Mason. He moved away, but he was trying to approach this girl. And I was like, "Don't go in there. Don't just run straight at them. Approach, poke a little bit." See if the shield breaks. We'll see what happens. But don't go all in. Don't invest. Don't commit.
No.
Not just yet.
Okay, well, if we're going to be really that nerdy about it, let's put it in Marvel terms then, or any Street Fighter terms. Maybe you want to play a little bit of footsies. Maybe you want to...
Definitely.
Maybe you want to throw out a Hadouken, but like you don't want to just throw out a hyper combo.
Right. Start with some small range attacks and then go in closer inch by inch.
Okay, guys. I think we're done.
But anyway, to go.
Those were just my exact words. I told them.
The point of the matter is that there should be a respect for people who play fighting games for a living, because you can make a living off of them.
You can.
And there are skills that are learned that can't be. I mean, the obvious ones, hand-eye coordination and things like that. Yeah. But there are things like resourcely, adaptability,
on-the-fly reactions. And that to go back to love, you go back to Crazy Stupid Love, and you look at Steve Carell's arc through that movie. He, like we said, there are a whole lot of surprises in that movie, and he has to adapt to every single one because throughout the whole movie, he's thinking about his wife and trying to get her back. But there are things that happen to him that blow your mind, but he has to adapt and change his strategy after every single one. And a lot of them are bad. Like a lot of that's why we're saying you don't.
A lot of trial and error.
Yeah, you almost expect this movie to end badly because there are points in the movie where Steve Carell is in the shithole, but he adapts and then he rises above, and that's what we're talking about right there.
Bringing it back.
And then it goes back to Ryan Gosling too. I mean, he's got he's
been there. He's been in that dark place.
Yeah, and he's almost set on being this womanizer. He's almost set on not. He says in the movie, he's not a guy who's trying to find true love. Something I can relate to.
One more nerd comment. Hal Jordan, Spectra to Green Lantern, overcoming the fear. Okay.
Oh,
yeah. There you go. Another summer blockbuster this year.
Oh God.
But
weird, nonstop.
But yeah, as I was saying, Ryan Gosling, this guy, he says, he looks at people in love. He looks at love, and he's like, that's not for me. Something I almost agree with. But then of course, life changes for him. He meets someone that changes his entire battle plan, and he has to adapt to that. He has to figure out. He was set on this life of that he wanted to pursue. He was set on his opinion about something, and then one person changes that opinion, and then he has to figure out, was I right, or is this a sign that maybe I've been thinking wrong this whole time?
Definitely.
Yeah. Again, please. Hopefully, we didn't spoil any too much.
Yeah.
We really hope you do see the movie. It could change your life. Probably definitely change your summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of perspective to be gained from that movie.
Especially if you're single like us.
Yes. Put a ring on it, lady.
All I can say is, like Ryan Gosling, I'm waiting for someone to change my mind.
And that's also something I want to get into about love. I was talking to Brian the other day, and he laughed. When I proposed this notion, he was just saying, "What's up with you, guy? What's going on? How's life?" being the courteous guy he is. He's like, nothing, man. No girls have been going on. Just being at work, working way too many hours for my own good. And
I mean, making that money though.
Right.
Stack it up.
Stack it. Oh, if you could see
For
me
the girls
making
in
it
the
rain
future.
right now.
For the girls in the future, right?
For the girls. Spreading those ones. Not for those girls, but, you know. So, I was talking to Brian, right? He got it.
Yeah.
I was talking to Brian, and he was telling me that he's the type of guy a little more assertive. He doesn't want to just sit away his life and just wait for the right girl. He has a lot more of what he wants in mind, and he goes for it. I guess you can explain yourself a little better.
I mean, the thing is that people, I mean, it's just your perspective on the matter. There's no right or wrong to this. It's just how you approach the deal. But the thing is that I feel as though the girl that I would want to have in my life is probably one who's actually maybe, I would honestly love for a girl to come approach me about the whole matter and just be like, hey, do you want to go on a date? That would be fantastic. And she turned out great for me. But the thing is
if only.
I think it's just so many girls are growing up with this image on like media and stuff, and I'm not trying to get too much into that, but that they need to wait around for the guy to find them. And it's like and that's not their fault, but I feel if that's the case, if I got a dude, I gotta find her somehow, right? I gotta find my Ramona Flowers somehow.
Yeah.
She's out there, man.
I mean, that's true. I mean, I guess part of courtesy, part of being a gentleman, you know, we do all the work to get to, you know, find a girl, but yeah, I mean that's what I mean. For me, it's just like, I guess, like Ryan Gosling said, you know, like you look at people who are in love, and it's almost like the stuff like this, like I don't like. For me, I don't know if I like want that. I guess just maybe now, but I mean, I've been in a long-term relationship before, and like the thing that part of what turned me off, you know, near the end was like, you know, I don't really know if I want this to last. I don't know if like I want to have that feeling of settling down. Like that was weird to me, and it still is, you know. And I think for when I say, you know, I'm waiting for someone to change my mind, you know, I'm maybe not someone to come and like slap me in the face and wake me up, but someone for me to meet someone that sort of that tells me like, oh, like maybe you can settle down, maybe you can spend your life with one person, you know, for the remainder of your years.
I mean, it's kind of early for us to be talking about that,
right.
But I mean,
yeah, but
we're pretty experienced for the most part about relationships. Like I think we know. Well, I don't want to say.
Just disclaimer: we don't know everything, so don't come to us.
We really don't.
As
I mean, we're as inexperienced as anybody else, but
we're not gods of love yet.
I mean, we're not going to get into the history of it, but we've
all had our histories.
Between the three of us, yeah, we have history.
Yeah,
we have a very diverse background of histories.
Yes. We cover a lot of ground.
Yeah, I mean, if
you heard it as soon as it came out.
If you have questions for us, I'm sure we can answer whatever advice you need.
That fan mail is just going to keep flowing.
Yeah,
Gods of love.
Maybe we'll come around to a podcast where it's like ask Brian or ask the dudes at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Maybe if we get a fan base for real.
Yeah. Ask us anything. Yeah.
You're right.
But yeah, the thing about let's put it this way then. What are the first 3 things you notice about anybody? Guy or girl? First 3 things you notice.
Eyes.
On a dude?
Oh, no, girl.
I said guys or girl. Just about any person. Like, first 3 things you notice.
The way they dress.
The way they dress, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way they walk.
I mean, to generalize that, you could say the way they like compose themselves, their body language, like their attitude.
Does that include clothing?
No, I think because you can stand tall and be like almost confident in your posture, but you could be wearing like rags, you know.
Right. So I guess demeanor.
Yeah.
Be a little more.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, the thing is like people will see me sitting down, and I like now they'll see me sitting down with my new hipster beanie or whatever, right? But I'll be sitting down and I'll be sitting really chill, or I'll be like hanging on one side of the chair and I'll just look really relaxed, and nobody would think that I could get really intense at any moment. But the thing is well, there's a story to go into about this, but in short, me and Alec, we were sitting down, we were eating at a Chick-fil-A, and we were just talking, and we were just relaxing. I was just kind of sitting in the seat, And then there was a man who just came raging into the Chick-fil-A, started yelling at this girl, going crazy.
We had these two girls sitting next to us eating lunch, they were actually having a conversation, I believe, about the certain gentleman who came up. Yeah. The woman who was talking about sounded distressed.
But let's not try and get too much into the story.
Right.
The fact of the matter is the guy, he just starts raging on this girl like crazy, and I just stand up for a second, and I'm like, yo, just calm down, like, there's no need for that. And he's like, how about you fuck off? And I was like, what? Like, why are you so mad, man?
Earmuffs, children, earmuffs.
Yes,
by the way.
anyways, sorry about the cursing. I'm trying to avoid that. I mean, I curse a lot in regular language when I speak regularly, but I'll try and avoid it. And then he's like, you're just a punk who's just sitting there. I was like, I'm just a punk that was just sitting here? You're coming over here throwing a tantrum with a girl, and I stood tall, and then he kind of backed down, and he realized there's more to this story, but the point of the matter is that it's not necessarily... I don't even know.
Appearances aren't everything.
There you go.
Yeah,
got you.
It's and that's the thing too. Like, it's a learning. You know, you can surprise yourself sometimes. Like, you adapt to like what's going on at the time. Like, you have to find certain personalities to
exactly
correct the situation.
Yeah. Let's go back to the three things we were noticing. We've got demeanor as one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll list my three personally. I'll notice if they're a female or not.
Okay, there you go.
I guess.
If they are a female, are they attractive or not? I'm not even going to lie. That sounds really shallow, but I mean, what else are you going to go off to meet somebody for, if not to meet them based on looks first?
Right. I mean, for specific reasons, yeah.
I mean, you're not going to base a relationship off of looks, but I mean, it's where it starts. Because honestly, they have to attract you somehow. Unless you somehow just, their personality, like you see them speaking or something. There are cases like that, I'm not going to lie. And third,
Hair color?
Yeah, probably.
Hair color, definitely.
This guy
and his Ramona.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks.
I guess if you guys have to know, my fans, I'm a big fan of offbeat hair colors. Big fan.
That's
for
all those ladies listening. If you have offbeat hair colors, give this guy a call. All right.
Let's not throw more of that out there. I get enough problems on Facebook about my habits and women. Okay,
hunt him down.
Let's
anyway, going back to what you said about the appearances contrasting their actual personality, that goes back to Crazy Stupid Love. How Steve Carell changed his whole demeanor, but he did not embrace that personality. You can see a man dressed up, very slick.
I mean, it was basically for him to like shape up. Like he sort of needed a better look, but he never changed like his love for his wife. And he never changed his caring personality.
Trying to avoid spoiling the movie still.
Oh yeah. But I mean, this is all.
We gave you a fair warning.
Let's put it this way: he was wearing a 44 when he should have been wearing a 42 regular.
That's all you gotta say.
And we're better than the Gap. We have learned that.
yes. And please, Velcro wallets. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
guys,
definitely.
Get rid of the Pokemon wallets, guys.
I mean, if it is a Pokemon wallet, if you're trying to get like a throwback nerd thing, that's okay. But if it's literally just a Velcro wallet, don't have that.
No.
Can't have that. All right, so go back to a back point.
I mean, I guess we should just change our point to making it. What do we notice? 3 things about the opposite sex then, because that's basically what we're talking about.
I mean, like you said, I definitely for me, how they dress, which is part of how they look, I guess, bodily and facially, because that's part of like whether or not you're attracted to someone. I guess.
Yes.
I don't know. Third, I guess.
I have a third. Well, first, I guess appearances and looks. First of all, demeanor.
Yeah.
Second, how they talk, how they act. I guess it goes along with demeanor, but the first one's more so appearance. Third one, friends, because friends is key.
Oh yeah, I mean,
because I don't know.
I mean, that's deeper in. I think we're talking about just like first meeting, like just. I don't know.
Well, I feel like the first thing a girl wants to talk about is herself, right?
Well, yeah.
And at some point, it's going to become about her friends, how she thinks about her friends, what she does for her friends or doesn't do, how she acts around them. Yeah. Because either you're going to be in a relationship where you're going to be involved with their friends, or you're going to go on a castaway island and be on your own. Because we've seen both those situations, and one of them doesn't turn out too well.
Yes.
So yes, looks. Looks, personality, friends. I feel like it's more important.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about when we were talking about Ryan Gosling's appearance about love, and he saw people who were in love, and he just thought it was just it just didn't look right.
Yeah.
And then but also you could see people with their friends, like, you could see that they have lives outside of you, lives outside of just being together. They have friends, they have jobs, and being able to love is being able to embrace someone while fully letting them live their life too.
Well,
we're going a little deep here.
Let's not get into defining love, because we all know
Yes.
that we're going to define that a little bit differently here.
Yes.
But I mean, if you want to put it that way, we could say,
just to make the point,
what do we find? What do we want in the opposite sex? But like, I mean, maybe another day, guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
so those are my 3 things.
Yeah.
Did you find a third?
I don't know. I mean,
it's a tough question.
Yeah,
it's very critical, very honest.
Yeah. I don't know what to think. Love is, I don't know, it's weird.
Well, we're not necessarily getting right into love right now. It's just, we're just discussing that.
This is very skimming the surface.
Initial,
there will be more episodes on love, but just right now, Crazy Stupid Love has engaged us so.
Yeah, that's true.
At 4 a.m.
Well, now it's not 4 a.m.
Yeah,
not at 4 a.m., a little bit later.
We've been talking for a little while. It's now getting past.
It's getting,
it's been a while.
I guess. Well, if we're talking about specifically girls, so I don't have to notice if they're a female or not, because
we're going with girls.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess the first thing I would notice, I think definitely the way you guys said dressing and demeanor and that stuff. Yeah, that would count. I think the first quality that I want to see is her smile, because the right smile will kill me no matter what. Like it was.
That's a good point.
It was like there's just something about certain smiles, and I don't even know what it is specifically within the smile.
The X factor.
For me, please don't have jacked up teeth. I will try and do the same for you. My teeth are pretty nice. Actually, if you guys get to know me, or if this goes on, I have a thing. It's called the Brian smirk.
Oh,
we'll
goodness.
get to it later.
The smirk.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug for a shameless evil.
Evil.
I don't. Something about. Okay, first thing you think of a smirk. Happiness? I think not. Brian, cut that out.
He just did
Ladies and gentlemen,
it was a little bit more troll face.
It was a little more troll face, but if we get a stock photo of that smirk, we're making billions.
That could be, if we ever have like a website for this, that could be like the homepage background.
We'll make it every icon, every clickable link.
There you go.
It'll smirk after it loads.
That would be pretty good.
With
quotes, I want to ask a question. Okay, so Crazy Stupid Love, about finding your soulmate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not, so, basically, they talk about, not giving up on your soulmate. You're always go for who you believe.
From a very insightful 13-year-old.
Yeah. Well, what do you we've seen the movie. Like, what do you think of, like, even though like in the movie there's so many obstacles that could be in your way. How, like, first of all, how do you know, like, how is it different? Like, it has to be different for everyone when you find your soulmate. And then what is it about that decision to decide whether to not give up or whether to move on?
It has to be the feeling, I feel. If, like, you're with the soulmate, or a supposed soulmate, and that way you feel, that like, indescribable feeling of mutuality and romantic and affectionate personality that you guys have with each other. Let's say that ends as probably terrible, maybe worse than how Steve Carell's end. And you find the next girl, and you don't feel that. Maybe, I think that might be the closest thing to a soulmate you got, because I feel like you wouldn't be able to do it other way than comparison, because otherwise you...
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
Or through a lot of self-discovery, but I feel like in a realistic type of way, you would probably have to compare.
Yeah.
What I will say, to be fair about that point, though, is that the characters in Crazy Stupid Love are significantly older than us.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Carell, definitely significantly older than us. Ryan Gosling, I would give at least 10 years.
Yes.
But 30, yeah.
The boy who was 13.
20s. I think he's late 20s because...
Okay.
The young man playing a 13-year-old, though,
Emma
probably
Watson's
around 15.
character is like 27.
So, yeah. Probably
okay. Well, yeah. The point is that they... I mean, well, even if he's not 10 years older than us, the next... I mean, from most people you find will settle down around 25. I'm going to guess 25.
25, 26 range. I believe, yeah.
So, like, clearly the next 5 years of our life have to be somewhat critical in our development for finding whoever we decide soulmate is. But I think, generally what it is just that when there's a certain quality, I feel like, that all of us look for. That's the unique, like, one quality. And it's just, that's the thing. And if that might convince you who your soulmate is, I don't know. Could be.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't look for it.
Right.
I mean,
right.
you're gonna meet people, but it's not like that one deal breaker. I think it's just a feeling,
Right.
an overall feeling. Not, it's like, oh, if this next girl is a blonde, she is the one. Or, if this next girl happens to resemble Emma Stone or Olivia Wilde, she might be the one.
Hey, if she resembles them that closely, I don't know.
Yeah, that's different.
Might be time to settle down at age 20.
I don't know. I mean, so yeah, we are still young. I mean, but it's interesting. It's
at the
interesting.
same time, me and Alex, we were pretty good friends, and I guess we kind of are. We were good friends.
We're pretty good friends?
No, I was going to say we were pretty good friends with a particular person we know
Oh.
that got married young.
I struck too soon.
Yeah.
Much forgiveness.
Jumping the gun a little bit.
A little bit.
But anyways, to see our friend settle down so young, and basically as soon as he got married, he stopped hanging out with us. And I guess that's what you do when you get married, like you hang out less or whatever, but he basically completely stopped. And
Stopping
for
your
us-
life at age 19 was just not age 18 even.
yeah.
Yes, and it was just such a surprise, such a shock. It was almost like your best friend moving away to like a faraway country,
Yeah,
except it was like their mind moved away to a faraway country.
Except when that happens when you're older, you basically still keep in contact. When somebody moves away when you're older, you generally
Right?
keep in
Yeah,
contact.
because
Right.
you guys are on the same wavevelength. But it's like he's jumped
The thing about this guy,
15 years.
he lives 10 minutes away from me.
our age.
The point is, the point I was trying to make, sorry, but what I'm trying to say is that he settled down, and he got into that married mentality right out of the gate.
Even before marriage.
Yeah, basically.
They were
And
celebrities,
here's some
single
advice.
names.
Here's some advice for the fellas. If you get a girlfriend, that's great. If she's the number one thing in your life, that's great. Should she always take priority over everybody? No. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah, and the key word is always, because
Yes.
I mean, sure, your wife, takes priority,
Definitely,
but,
yes. You will pick her 95% of the time.
Right,
whatever.
yes.
Sure. Whatever the number is that you want to put out there, whatever statistic feels right to you. Here's the thing, though. It shouldn't be 100%. If your wife just randomly wants watermelon, and your friends haven't seen you in like
and
10
it's the
years...
dead of winter.
and your friends haven't seen you in like 10 years, unless she's pregnant, I think your friends kind of deserve to hang out with you. Maybe
Oh,
go
yeah.
watch the change-up.
exactly.
And to the women, please, do not... I mean, I'm not saying you're all like this, but try not to absorb your man's life. Just saying.
yeah,
It needs to be a healthy partnership. You gotta have a life outside of one person. You can't be too dependent on one person,
and that's-
because when that one person just breaks, they break hard.
yep. And that's what the change-up talks about too. Is that Jason Bateman's relationship with his wife is like, he's getting a little too far, and it's like almost the opposite.
It's somehow
mindset.
between a midlife crisis and a total life-changing event,
Yeah.
but both all in one.
It's kind of that world is crashing down on you. Kind of
Yeah.
moment.
And it just blindsides him so much.
It does. To talk about love, that's a pretty hard subject to go into just on our first podcast. But basically, I guess what we're talking about is just what we like to see in others for right now. I guess playing the dating game. Maybe when we get around to those questions, you'll ask us what we do on dates and stuff. But I mean, I guess we'll try and help you out.
Yeah. I mean, we're young. This is like initial feelings we have.
Young
on, like,
whippersnappers out in the
whole
world.
situation. Yeah, like.
In hopping clubs.
I think. I mean, it's funny because like our age is what it is, but when it comes to stuff like this, I think at least the three of us, like, we can be really mature when it comes to like talking about these really like life like deep things.
These older themes,
Yeah.
It's tough
Showing
because
some
some people aren't ready for this. Like, some people you try to talk to and they don't know how to address it. Like, maybe
I mean, I definitely had an experience with a girl who was basically just trying to have fun. We're gonna try and just change names whenever we have to talk about somebody if we have to. So this,
Yeah. Because what's probably going to happen is some friends
people
have are
we
gonna-
know are going to start listening to us because we're likable people.
and they're gonna start throwing some salt out if we use their names in stories that they, although they might recognize they're in there anyways. Anyways, the point is, we all. I mean, I've had my fair share of experience Oh, let me throw in this shameless plug and disclaimer first. If you meet any of my friends and they say, if there's any advertisement from these two other guys that say I'm a ladies' man, lies.
It's true.
Just saying, lies.
It's true.
Secondly, I've had my fair share of experience, and it's just, a lot of guys haven't dealt with all of. I'm just saying, between the three of us,
We've dealt with a lot of personalities, but there's still a little
just
more
the
to
discussion, just the discussions that we've had with each other, just talking about problems, trying to figure out what's going on. I'd say it's pretty fair that we're a little bit ahead of the curve for our age.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean,
we're beyond the sitcom generic. We're
Yeah.
beyond the high school. We're beyond even some college things.
So, yeah.
But, I mean, we're still growing, as
Yeah,
always.
I mean, yeah, we're not trying to claim that we know everything, of course.
Right.
yeah.
But we are
I
pretty...
mean, like we said, it's adapting.
we're a pretty good hub of
we're-
information of
We're
love.
adapting to our situations,
Right.
I mean, we're just gonna keep going back to our fighting game references, basically.
Yes. Our fighting game beyond...
But
Just-
basically, I think we should kind of wrap it up there. Just say thank you to whoever listened.
Yes, thank
I
you.
I hope it wasn't too rambling on. I hope it all flowed and connected for this first.
Definitely
round.
throw us some feedback. What are we going to drop Twitters? Are we going to drop emails?
Yeah, we created an email just for this podcast. It's simply dudesat4@gmail.com. And then you can look in the description for more contact information.
Guys, it's
Rambling.
been nice. I'm Brian.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Erin, and we are the three dudes at 4 a.m.
But rumor has it I'm the one you're leaving her for. Rumor has it.
We watched Crazy Stupid Love together. We're not going to watch a sunrise together.